So now we'll look into the option of connecting our action to the webhook, entering a prompt for the main invocation. So for that, there are two ways we can connect the webhooks. So like if you see, if you choose the webhook from the left hand side on the console, so it will be showing a two option, like whether you want to connect it with an external endpoint or you want to connect it with the inline cloud function. So for our case, we'll be using the external cloud function, since we'll be sending a mail as well as sending the report in WhatsApp. So we'll be using this external cloud function or an external endpoint instead of this inline builder. So we'll click the external part and we'll just click confirm. So it will ask for an endpoint. So for that, what we'll do is, like, first we will create a cloud function, so in our local machine, and then we'll deploy the cloud function. Then we'll copy that URL and paste it here. So for that, we'll just go to our local machine and open our terminal. So now we'll use the Firebase CLI to create a new project. To link it with the existing project. So before that, if you're a new user, if you're not installed Firebase CLI, you can just go to the Firebase CLI document. So there they have mentioned like what is the steps to be done for a Windows, Mac OS and Linux. Or if you are having a node package manager, then you can install the Firebase CLI using the command like npm install Firebase tools. So there are options. So now we'll so once that Firebase CLI has been installed, so first step what we'll do is, like, we'll log in the Firebase account. So using the command Firebase login. So now it will be ask for the authentication. Just provide yes or click yes. So we'll just copy this one quickly and paste it in that tab. Now we can do just authenticate Firebase CLI for our local machine. So now the login part has been done. So now if you see here, like, the login is completed. So now what we'll do is, like, we'll just navigate to the directory, or we'll just create a folder, and then inside that folder we'll add this Firebase cloud functions. So the first command which we need to do is, like, initialize the Firebase using the command Firebase init, and then we can choose the options, like what kind of an option is needed. So for now we'll be using only the functions, so we can choose the functions, click enter. So to choose that options, you can so once a option has been selected, you can just press the space bar. So the action, the particular option will be chosen. So now we can enter. So now the next question will be, like, we want to use the cloud function for an existing project, or you want to create a new project. So we'll choose an existing project, since while creating a new action, the Firebase project will be created. So for now we'll just go to the Firebase Console and check whether a project named COVID tracker is available or not. Okay, you can see here, right, like, once there is a project named COVID tracker, so we'll just use the existing project. So now we'll be choosing the project, so COVID tracker. So once a project has been chosen, click enter. So now it will be asked for the options, like whether what kind of language you are going to write the function, like whether using JavaScript or TypeScript. So now we'll choose JavaScript. So we'll enforce the linters and we'll install the dependencies. So it would take some time to install those dependencies. So whenever a new action project is being created in the Google Action Console, so the project will be added in the Firebase Console as well as in the GCP Google Cloud Platform. So the first thing will be added in the Google Cloud Platform. From there it will be made a link into the Firebase. So here you can see the options like the functions part. So we are not yet started with the functions. So for this action, we'll be storing the user's data in Firestore. So we'll be enabling the Firestore. For that, just go to the database and click the database. So in the database part, we'll be having two options. One is the real-time database and Firestore part. So we'll look into this part like once we done the initial steps, like we'll go by step. I don't want to make you confused like in between. So first we'll create a function, then we'll add a webhook for the welcome intent, then we'll go by step. So adding the data to the Firestore as well as retrieving those data to it later. So if you're new to this Firebase, you can just have a look at their docs and you can use it for other options like mobile apps or even for your web apps. And for a new beginner, it will be a great tool. As a backend, it will be a great support for you. So you can do all the things you can do it by your own. So you don't want to depend any backend guy or anyone like to create the backend parts. So it will be a fun playing with this thing. So we'll check whether that installation has been completed. So it's been completed. So we'll just navigate to the functions and open that functions in code editor. So if you see here, like there will be the major file will be like the index.js as well as the package.json. So here we will be saying like all the list of dependencies which is installed for our cloud function. So there are two dependencies, like one is the Firebase admin and Firebase functions. So in which engine it should be get run. So we'll change it to node 10. So and there are some scripts like running this cloud function. For now, like we'll install this assistant conversation plugin. So if you see here, like there is a new package being available for the conversation. So earlier in the dialog flow, we'll be using a separate, a different package. For this new assistant, there is this is a new one. So we'll install this package in the cloud function. So we'll just copy this command and just paste it here. So now the package has been installed. So we can verify it here. We just close this one. So if you see, like the assistant/conversation package has been installed. So now we'll go to the index.js file. So this here we'll be importing the options like the assistant conversation. Like first we'll import that one. Conversation, and so we have include the Firebase functions has been added. Now we'll create the welcome intent. So we'll just remove these quotes first, then we'll start creating the welcome part. So app.handle. So we'll give the name for the handler, like the function name. So it will be like greetings. So the message, like, so we'll first give a temporary message and check whether this function has been working or not, and then we'll check, we'll update the messages. So first we'll do a temporary message, like a message from cloud function. Then we'll add this one to the conversation. So this part has been done. So now we'll export these functions. So for that, what we'll do is like export dot fulfillment function HTTPS request. So it will take all the functions which is starting from the app. So here we are having a handler named greetings. So we'll fix that one. So the conversation, okay, conversation which we have added in the import statement is been not yet called anywhere. So we'll first, we have missed one line. App equal to conversation of debug true. So now the conversation import statement has been called, and we have created a sample function, a simple function now with the greetings. So now we'll deploy this function. So to do deploy, the command is Firebase deploy. The reason for using the Node 10 is like maybe in future the Node.js 8 runtime will be get deprecated, so that's the reason we have used Node 10. Since in my local machine I'm having a Node 8, Node.js 8, so that's the default thing which is added by creating. So it might take some time to deploy this function, like so we'll see what happens. So now we'll open the Firebase console as well as the GCP console. So if you notice here, like the cloud function, the function which we have created is been added. So we'll check whether it's been here. Also it's been added. So it says like the node 8 has been deprecated. So we'll check that option in the GCP console. So now if you see here, like the function which we have added is been available in the Google Cloud platform, the cloud functions. So if we click on the fulfillment, so here you can see the how many times the the function has been invoked. So the trigger is the URL, so which will be and pasting it in the actions console. So if we see the source, so it will be see the codes which we have added, which we have created earlier. So the same source code will be available here, so we can update here also. So the node package, it's in 8, it's been not updated, so we'll update this one in the next deployment. Okay, like now we'll just copy this trigger function URL and we'll go to our action. So in the HTTP endpoint, we'll paste that one and click save. So the fulfillment has been added successfully. So now we'll test that action. So we'll just reset this one. So one thing you have to consider, like when you're going to use an external function, means like in the GCP platform, so you have to enable billing for the cloud function which you are going to use. So sometimes, like if the billing is not enabled, means like this function cannot be used. So at that time, while testing, you might see some errors. Like, so what typically we'll do is, like once we deploy, we'll be getting the URL here. We'll just copy it from here and we'll just paste it in the console. The Google Assistant console. But the problem, what happens is, like the billing part will be seen only in the GCP platform. So from this terminal, we cannot see like whether the billing has been enabled or not. So that case, like when you test the action, so you will be the action, the fulfillment or the function which you have created won't be get called. So that case, like you can go and check it in the GCP platform. So what is the issue, and as well as like make sure like the authentication is like allow unauthenticated persons. So these two things, like just keep it in mind, like if you're going to create a cloud function. So here also you can say you can look at the URL, as well as like you can see the logs here in the Firebase Console, Firebase dashboard. So in both ways you can see the logs from the GCP platform, as well as from the Firebase dashboard, as well as from the Firebase CLI. You can look at the logs. So now we'll test our action. So first we'll do the trick. But one thing we have missed out, we have added the URL, but we have not linked it with the main invocation. So if you see here, like we have just linked it with the prompts. So instead of prompt, we will link it with the book handler. So here we have to enter the handler name, that's a function name. So in our case, it's like greetings. So you can give the naming according to your standard. Like for this demo purpose, I'm just giving a different name. So you can add your all this styling concepts or all the stuffs while doing. So we just added this now, and we have saved it. So now we'll reset the test. And again we'll do the trick. And now we'll check whether the message from the webbook is being shown here. So if you see now, like the message from the cloud function, that's like the message which we have written here is being shown instead of the prompts, since it has been connected with the webbooks. So which means like the webbook part has been working properly. So now we'll add the logics, like whether the user is a new user or an existing user. So those kinds of things we can add it now, and based on the user we will show the messages. So first we'll check whether to check whether the user is a new user or not. We'll put up a log here first. Actually, it should be done earlier, the previous deployment. Forget that one. User is. So here we can see what kind of a user is, and now we'll change this message, like let message. And then we'll add one more condition here. If the user is lost seen, then we'll show a different message like welcome to day tracker. So if it is not so the user is not seen last time means then this the new message will be shown like if it is a new user. So we'll just copy the message which we have created from the dialog. So we show COVID routing will be using day tracker. So welcome to day tracker and assist you to store where you have went during this COVID times. Will be helpful to track the places you have visited if you get COVID. And then we'll just save this one and deploy it again. So now here, if you see here, like whenever that webhook is being called, the logs will be get printed. So if you put any console logs, means that logs will be get printed here. So you can just filter and see the logs. So what kind of an output is being coming. So it will be helpful for debugging purpose for the initial time. We'll check whether the function is deployed or not. So if you see in the cloud function, so we'll be having an history of like how many versions has been get pushed. So we'll be having a version control kind of a system here. So even if you want to revert it back, so you can do that option. So like if you see here the status, the function is being getting deployed. So now it's been updating to Node.js 10. It's taking a little bit of time now for the deployment. reset the test. So now this part has been completed, so we don't want to make any changes here until we change the function name. I think the deployment is completed. So now if you see, the runtime has been updated since we made the changes in the package.json. The node engine has 10. So now the runtime engine is like Node.js 10. So now if you see here, so at the source, you can see the updated code has been added. So the new changes has been came here, 1, as well as you can see the versions like active 1. So if you want to go back to the previous version, we can do the one. So for now, it's not needed. So now we'll test whether this part has been working or not. Again, we'll reset and do the trick. So now we'll test our action.
Let's get the test version of 𝗂𝗓𝗓. Welcome to 𝗂𝗓𝗓. Did you want out today?
So now it shows the message like since it is an existing user, so it shows the second option. If you see the code, like user last seen time has been available, so that message has been updated. So we'll check whether there is an option to clear this one. So we'll we just clear this option and we'll check it one more time. So this is the basic thing, like we have connected our action. We have connected our action with the webhook. So now the webhook part has been working on. So now the greetings, the welcome part has been completed. So now in the next section, the next video, we'll see like we'll just make some changes in the user activity as well as in the main invocation based on the dialogues which we have written in the COVID for the COVID tracking. So till then, thank you.